Vitalik in the back has something to say, both about creator coins and possibly about L2s, but more on that in a second. Welcome to Cryptocurrents, the weekly podcast of people actually working in crypto and blockchain, talking about everything you need to know in crypto and blockchain, and occasionally finance. Think of us like the Avengers. We're assembling every week to save the day, and we entertain you. I'm your host, Vince, and today I'm joined by our resident degen, Kale.
What's up?
And Katya.
I wish I knew more about the Avengers to say which one I am.
You're Iron Man.
I was thinking the same
You're
thing.
Iron Man. That's all there is.
Which one am I?
You're Nightcrawler.
On the spot, okay.
That's not even an Avenger. That's the joke.
Damn it,
That's
bro.
an X-Men.
Which one are you?
I'm just some normal guy that works in a suit that's like, oh yeah, we really like the Avengers Initiative. That's cool. I have no powers. I'm just some schlub. All right, so let's kick things off with the intersection of finance and crypto, with Fidelity launching its first stablecoin on Ethereum. Talk to me about this, guys. We've seen a lot of like institutional involvement and interest in blockchain, but is a stablecoin going to move the needle at all? And are you excited that it's Fidelity? Gail, kick us off.
I mean, I'm sure it moves the needle, even if it's like ever so slightly.
Mhm.
This isn't like super huge for me personally, because I've never opened Fidelity once in my life. But like what I do love the most about this type of news, like the Fidelities and the BlackRocks and the JP Morgans, etc., like creating stable coins and doing things on Ethereum in general, is seeing them like slowly but surely, not them, but seeing crypto slowly but surely take over.
Mm-hmm.
Because like whenever I see a headline like this, I always think of my uncle, who's like a certified boomer. He's like probably mid 60s, and he's known that I've been into crypto for like years. But every single time I see him, he's always trying to bully me about like Bitcoin's going to zero, crypto's this, crypto's that. And it's like these headlines, I always think of him, because it's like these are the things that are happening behind the scenes that like one day people like that, like my uncle, who are super anti-crypto, they want it to disappear. Like they're just going to wake up one day and crypto's going to be in their Fidelity account. Crypto's going to be in their Vanguard. It's going to be like in all the things. So that is like what I'm excited to see. Like I love to see crypto slowly like taking over the world. But FID specifically is like, it's kind of indifferent to like.
I've never heard anyone call it FID. We all call it Fido.
Well, the stablecoin is FIDD. Right?
Oh, I thought you were just abbreviating Fidelity.
No.
My bad. I'm like, damn, that's a lot cooler than Fido.
They should have then if they probably know this, why didn't they take Fido? Is Fido taken?
I have no idea, actually.
The first thing I thought of when I saw FID was Tree Fitty, like the meme.
Tree Fitty.
Yeah, so maybe they were going for that, but probably not.
No, definitely not. Not strong meme culture over at Fidelity, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Katya, what are your thoughts on this? Yet another stablecoin branded by a company.
I mean, it's great that it's on Ethereum. More power to Ethereum for supporting all of this tokenization, institutionalization. In other really somewhat related news, when Kale was talking about like these big guys like supporting crypto, I thought about this, that UBS, the Swiss bank, which is one of the biggest European, if not the biggest European, a huge bank, is now offering Bitcoin and Ethereum trading to its customers. So one of the big effects of all this is competitor pressure, which tremendously just accelerates adoption, because once these big players start offering this stuff, other big players are more likely to take it seriously because they only listen to each other in little back rooms of Manhattan restaurants in their suits, their martinis. So yeah, I mean, I keep thinking about, I think I may have spoken about this on the podcast before, but I keep thinking about this time in US history, and I'm kind of fuzzy on when this was, but I think mid-19th century, when all these banks were issuing their own versions of the dollar, and this cash money looked different, and New York dollars and
it was around the Civil War.
Yeah, Indiana dollars were all different and weren't accepted everywhere. And so yeah, I always think about that. And I guess I just hope that these, even though everybody wants their stable coin to be interoperable, intertradable. You want to trade one stable, like they're all tied to the dollar. So they do want to make it liquid with other stable coins. And I understand why. But I kind of hope that for things like this, when a bank is going to issue their stable coin and or other financial institution, it'll be more like a product in the sense that you and I will know that FID has this kind of yield in these kinds of structures. And if you put, they have this kind of basket of assets that they are working with. So it would be a description of a product essentially tied to this coin, as opposed to, I'm going to give you 2 FIDs and 3 USATs and 4 USD things for this $8 coffee or whatever. That probably didn't add up, but you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I don't want it to be kind of like when everybody's going to be trying to beat other stable coins or to try to intermingle the stable coins. I'm okay with a stable coin issued by a big player. Just make it more like an offering instead of like a currency,
Yeah, I think you're onto something. I think users are going to get constantly confused by all of this new lingo because they're like, "Oh yeah, I want Ethereum. Oh, what's this FID on Ethereum? What?" And then I use this
100%.
to do what? Like, I remember, jumping into Ethereum. I'm like, cool, I want to buy this whatever nonsense token. It's like, cool, now you need ETH. And it's like, wait, what? I want to just do the thing. Why do I have to get this other thing to do the thing? And that's always a big point of friction, I feel.
Yeah, just gas
Yeah.
alone trips people up.
For sure. Takes money to do stuff with money. People are not used to that.
Yeah.
But speaking of stablecoins, let's talk about Tether, who is currently hoarding gold in a James Bond style bunker. And I've always considered myself more of a Dr. Evil kind of guy.
Very nice.
That was for the video version of the podcast only. So if you're listening to this, make sure you follow us on YouTube as well. But I think it's so funny to watch Tether just make digital gold and then use the proceeds of their digital gold to buy real gold and then just store it in a bunker. Katya, what are your thoughts?
I mean, this is one of those rare, fun pieces of news in crypto lately. It's all so corporate nowadays. But yeah, and I think it's interesting because it's truly like that. They are buying gold in tremendous amounts. They have, I think, 23 or $24 billion worth of gold now, and they keep buying. And they're one of the biggest holders of gold now after like countries.
Yeah.
So, and they are prepping, doomsday prepping. Absolutely. Like they're preparing to be, a bank for a doomsday bank. Some of this gold is dedicated to backing their gold tokenized gold, XAUT, XAUT, I don't know. Which is good news for holders of that token that it's being backed by actual gold. But most of it is for reserves for their own sake. And also, when I was reading about this, I read something that I had not thought about before at all. And the idea or the fear is that countries who have gold reserves may be issuing their gold-backed tokens as tokenized commodities to compete with other countries' currencies, such as the US dollar. So they're like all these countries in Asia and in Europe are buying gold and they will issue tokenized gold, and this will compete directly with the dollar. And so Tether is going to save this country.
Crypto's going to save it. Who knew?
Yes, by having these gold reserves where they will be able to offset or also compete. So something like that. It is indeed very, very James Bond-esque of a news story. And I don't know. And this is alongside their release. Well, not alongside, but at the same time as their release of the USAT stablecoin, which is for the United States users, as opposed to USDT, which is technically not available to US users, which is very confusing to crypto native people who have been probably many of them using USDT for a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a whole plan as well, because now they will have USAT in the US and USDT elsewhere, and then you could get USAT in here and then use it as USDT elsewhere. So they've got a world domination plan just stitched up for real.
Well, you were just talking to us about world domination, Kale. What's up with that? What's with Tether? What are your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, no, it's crazy. They're really trying to be like the overlords of the world. And we were just talking about like how users are going to get confused just by like stablecoins in general. And it's like, this is a perfect example of that, because it's like, even Tether itself, they have USDT, they have XAUT. I'm pretty sure they have like other types or other stablecoins that aren't USDT, like USAT, like Katya just brought up. And like Luna, remember Terra Luna from a few years ago? They were UST, right? And I'm pretty sure like those contracts still exist on chain. So like it is a non-zero chance that somebody is like, oh, I want to swap for USDT, and then they swap for UST on accident. So it's like, yeah, it's getting really complicated. But Tether specifically, I don't know. It's just like the conspiracy theorist in me is screaming that something fishy is going on, because it's just so ironic. Why would they be hoarding physical gold when their whole shtick is digital gold?
Mm-hmm.
Or I guess not their whole
shtick. You gotta back it up. Like, you gotta back it up. You gotta put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, but also that's like the perfect excuse. If they were just like trying to become the overlords of the world, they're like, yeah, we're just backing up our gold. Don't worry about it, bro.
Sure. Like, you don't think there's a problem, and all of a sudden good old Uncle Sam is knocking at the door with a bunch of drones? Like, come on.
Yeah,
you could have all the James Bond bunker in the world. Like,
yeah, no, you're probably right. But like,
we're gonna nationalize this stockpile of gold.
True, right? Like, it's just a matter of time. But just the fact that they are like attempting something like this feels like deeply unsettling.
It could also just be they see the way the world is going, with people hoarding minerals, people hoarding the means of production, people becoming isolationist, and that's one of the big reasons we're seeing a lot of like market action to the downside right now, is because people are like, oh no, hoard your gold.
Well, and also we've talked about this before. These centralized or semi-centralized, these huge players, they're not crypto native. They're like big corporations, and
Brock Pierce made this.
I was gonna say Brock Pierce is up in charge of this. So
and the big, if you have a lot of money as a corporation or as a big player, then you hold everything. You don't you don't depend on one asset. Like, there are no idealists in those echelons, like
True.
Only practicalists.
I like that. You should put that on a throw pillow. Speaking of practical and hoarding minerals, new CoinGecko category just dropped, and it's commodities meme coins. Kale, you're our meme coin expert. Talk to me about this.
Yeah, so this all started basically because like metals have been pumping, just in case you listener have been living under a rock. Yeah, like gold like doubled or something in the past few months. Silver has been flying up, all the metals, copper. And so Kobe, who is a crypto OG, he's like been in the scene for like, I think 10 plus years. He made a post on Twitter talking about like, oh yeah, metals are awesome because you don't have to worry about buying copper, and then like while you're sleeping, some dev makes copper inu and sucks all the liquidity out of like your meme coin copper that you bought. And of course, naturally, within like 6 hours,
was sleeping.
Yeah, yep. Copper inu was created, silver inu was created, gold inu was created, all on Pump Fun, of course. So that happened. And then CoinGecko, they ended up like creating a whole category in their app to track all of these meme coins that are like commodity themed. So you can go into CoinGecko, you can go into the categories, and now there's a commodity meme coins category where you can see copper inu, silver inu, all the inus. And yeah, it's silly, but CoinGecko always does this. They have like a 4chan themed coins. They have made in China coins, made in America coins. Yeah. They have all types of categories. They get really silly with it.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like Kobe knew what he was doing. Like, he's been in crypto long enough that like he knows that if he says the words copper inu, people are going to make a copper inu like immediately.
So you think it's inside trading? Like he
I mean,
profited
I
from the
don't
copper
meme
Inu coin?
I don't think he. I mean, he definitely could have. You know, if it were a different influencer, I would say they probably did. But I think Kobe has enough money that he like doesn't need to be in the trenches like that. But with that being said, though, I still do think that he knew what was coming. Like he knew that by typing the words "copper Inu," people are gonna make copper Inu coin. But I don't think he personally participated. Probably not.
I think this really just kind of underlines how deeply unserious a lot of crypto is still, where not only are you having the people in the trenches being like, oh yeah, that's funny, let me do that. But then also some of these larger players being like, well, let's make a category for it. And I remember during the GameStop, craze, a lot of the big brokers were like, hey, do you want a meme stock themed ETF? And users were like, absolutely. And then none of the actual like legitimate quote unquote brokers released meme stock ETFs. And that kind of has just gone away, the whole meme stock craze. But apparently the meme mania will continue in crypto probably long after we leave crypto.
100%. And like what I love about this meme coin specifically, the Copper Inu, is like it kind of shows crypto culture.
Yeah.
Because it's like you ask any random on the street, like, is Copper Inu funny? Like they're like, no. Like what does that mean? But like to crypto natives, to me, I saw that and I immediately chuckled because like that's like a crypto thing that crypto people do. So you just add Inu on the top of something and now it's a meme coin.
Yeah.
So like that was funny for me to see. Like just the name Copper Inu like made me chuckle. But yeah.
Katya, did it make you chuckle?
I mean, yeah, because as Kale says, it's one of those things where the crypto community is always going to be hold my beer and the ridiculous shit will happen. I think it speaks to tokenization is everywhere and tokenization is everything now in crypto, like stable coins were, a year ago or whatever, but still are. Stable coins still are. But this commodity meme coin thing, so now tokenization of commodities is in full mind share, in full view of the crypto community. But the alarming thing is that when you have a meme coin that's a Shiba or a Doge or whatever it is, it's based on a meme. It's not pretending to be anything else other than the meme. The reason they succeed is that the meme is highly valued by the community, and there's that. But with this, there's an extra layer of deception because these copper Inu and gold Inu and silver Inu coins are backed by nothing, obviously. It's just joke. But if it's like with the stable coins that we were just discussing and the confusion, if you're coming to the market and you're saying, okay, gold tokenization is a thing, I'm gonna get in on this, and you see gold Inu, you don't know you'll get any token with gold in it. I mean, not everyone,
Imagine
but some people
somebody
will.
trying to buy gold and they buy gold Inu. Like, dude,
right?
There's a non-zero chance.
For real. Like,
so non-zero.
I'd be
And
so mad.
You can price these things as these commodities, again, without anything backing them. It's just, and the other layer to this, again, something I hadn't thought about, and I read in a piece somewhere, that another layer to commodity trading, and when it gets all out of whack because there's speculation trading, and now there's meme coin trading, which has potential to muddy the waters of commodity trading. Commodities, like precious metals, are also used in industry.
Yeah.
Chips.
Useful.
Spaceships. I don't know. Things.
Gold fillings in teeth.
Very
All
important.
the things.
Very important. Solar batteries, something. Things. Important things that need to be made. And now these, and hard to substitute, because there's a reason why these metals are being used in those industries, because they have unique properties. And now those industries are suffering down the line from this price volatility that has nothing to do with utility, that has nothing, it's just vibes and speculation. And that's a downstream effect of that. And now these meme coins are adding to the downstream effect. So it's a little bit of a shitstorm altogether. And that's, I think the market has changed. You know how you were saying the other day that for people who older people who are used to calmer markets, the way that the metals went up and then down and, must have really given them a shock. But I think we're all in this different place with markets now where there's so much consequence to things that start as jokes or vibes or speculation or hysteria because of the insane politics that we live with now. That it's a whole different, not just crypto, but the markets themselves are just living a different life than they did 50 years ago.
Well, let's pivot from hysteria and drama, and let's talk about the drama going on in Ethereum right now with the DAO coming back like Lazarus from the dead. Katya, talk to us about this.
So I don't know if there's drama yet, but there's definitely
It's a brewing.
Non-zero high potential for drama. It's brewing drama. Yeah. So for those who maybe are not familiar, the DAO was an Ethereum DAO, decentralized autonomous organization, that was founded in 2016, shortly after Ethereum itself was launched in 2015. And the idea was that people would buy ETH, would pool their money, the ETH together into this DAO, and then fund projects that would be building on ETH. There would be voting to decide, as DAOs do, to decide which projects were deserving, where to allocate the money, and to push forward the progress of the blockchain. And it was a tremendous success. At the time, they collected, pooled 11 million ETH into the DAO. At that time, ETH was between 10 and 50, something around like that, dollars. So in the end, the DAO had about $150 million worth. And then very shortly after it was created, the smart contract was hacked. The DAO was not emptied, like I don't remember how much exactly they were able to steal. And then there was obviously a huge trauma for the growing community of Ethereum. And what happened then was the split that created Ethereum Classic. So some people said, we're going to roll back the blockchain and give everybody back their money because this is ridiculous. Some people were like, well, if we are a blockchain, we're serious about being a decentralized and immutable blockchain, then we have to eat this mistake. And opinions split. And what we have now as Ethereum today is the group that decided we will roll back and give people back the money. And the hardcore decentralists stayed as Ethereum Classic. And so then the money was returned to most people. And it was held, these funds that were being returned to investors were held in a multi-signature contract, controlled, I'm not sure by whom, but people central to the Ethereum developer community. Then I don't know if Vitalik is one. I don't know who. No, I don't think anybody does. And so 10 years have passed, and it turns out that there are still remaining unclaimed funds in that contract that was holding the funds to disburse them. And honestly, it's kind of dust, because if you consider that 11 million ETH was collected, today 70,000 or 75,000 ETH remain. So out of 11 million, that's very little.
Not bad,
to be fair. But because the price obviously changed quite a bit since then in these 10 years, these 75,000 ETH are worth today about 220 million, which is more than the entire DAO of 11 million ETH was worth back then. Anyway, so I guess the powers that be in Ethereum Foundation decided that the statute of limitation has passed, and if nobody claimed those funds until now, then they shall remain unclaimed. And those funds are now going to be dedicated to an endowment for Ethereum security, which is basically, and they called it, so that DAO was just DAO, but historically became known as the DAO because people kept referring to it this way. This fund is actually going to be called the DAO as one word with capital THE and, DAO, which I think is very unimaginative, but there it is. And I guess there's a poetic kind of balance to it, that something that was a huge security flaw in the very beginning of Ethereum and shaped its future so much Now, the remains of it now become an endowment for security for projects that develop security on Ethereum. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm honestly surprised that the money was still there. I guess kudos to them. I think any government or corporation would have embezzled that stuff like a while ago.
I want it right now.
Right. I don't know if this is just, the time has come and this is just these people embezzling it now. I don't know. So there's all kinds of things in place for quadratic voting and all of that for how these funds are going to be used for security projects. But that's the plan, 220 million. They're going to stake most of it. And then the proceeds from the staking, the yield from the staking is going to be used for the funding of the projects. And they're leaving some liquidity for emergencies or something like that.
Yeah.
But so that's the plan. And that it's kind of funny, 10 years, and now it woke up, the Kraken of the DAO woke up to fund security on Ethereum. We'll see how that goes.
I do think it's a great use of these leftover funds, and as corporate person, I'm like, well, I'm glad we held off on, accessing these for so long. So I'm here for it. But I see a lot of people that are pissed about it, a lot of people that are like happy for it. Kale, where are you at on this whole thing?
I mean, hearing you guys talk about this, you just reminded me. I think I had 70,000 ETH left in the contract, and that might be all mine. So I'm just gonna go have to claim
you're right.
that.
You're right. That was you.
Yeah. No.
Well, you better make it quick and put in your bid for your funds.
No, but like seriously though, when I read this, if I understand correctly, like there could have been a guy that's in a coma, and he like had his funds in there, and he wakes up 10 years from now, and like his ETH is just gone. Like,
poof.
Imagine being that guy.
You think he would have been like, oh, okay, yeah, let me do this at some point.
But also, just as a side note to all this, like bullish, like 70,000 ETH would have been like 10,000, less than $10,000 back then. Anyway, it's like 220 million now. Like, just think about that.
That's very crazy.
Yeah. So, but like, legitimately, do you think this is silly? Like, are you purist, or you're like, whatever? Like,
I do think it's cool. Yeah. Honestly, like you said, I generally agree that like this is a good use of the funds. Yeah, the thing that just stuck out to me is like it kind of feels unfair because it's like I can't help but think of like the guy that what if there's a guy in a coma? He's gonna wake up. He's gonna wake up mad.
The description of the work that they wanted to do with it, kind of, I was skeptical about that because how they phrased it was like wallet security event responses, things like that. I guess I would just like to know more about, because it feels more like talking points than infrastructural systemic approaches to like Ethereum security. Because I don't remember what this conversation was, something on crypto Twitter, and I don't remember what the conversation was, but somebody was saying educating users is a good thing, and we are all doing it, and we've been all doing it, and we've all been trying it, and we all have all the warnings that we need to have, and we all feel strongly about it, and we worry about it, but it hasn't solved hacks and phishing. It hasn't solved that. Just as educating people about health hasn't solved, like people getting sick and dying from things that they could literally avoid if they were smarter about it and all of that. So it's important, but it doesn't. So there's the structural, infrastructural, developmental things that need to be done in the blockchain. And what they were talking about in the post just didn't sound like that to me. It sounded to me like there would be a grant for people doing like interactive quizzes about security, which is, like a little while ago we all wanted to do, but and did, a lot of us, but didn't, unfortunately, end security issues in crypto, so.
Yeah. Well, I think it'll remain to be seen. I think it is at least kind of talking points that have like could have some major impact in a positive way for users. Which brings me to the final point, and I guess we'll have to talk about layer 2s next week because we are going a little long here, but I want to talk about Vitalik's tweet about creator coins. I've highlighted how stupid social finance is, and I've highlighted how dumb I think creator coins are. And I remember seeing who was the black guy from The Office when he launched his creator coin, and it's just so cringe and so stupid. And I don't understand why we keep coming back to this. But tell me why I'm wrong, Kale. Is Vitalik right? Does he have the master key to the creator fund coin?
Dude, he might. I felt like you very recently because being an artist or like a content creator myself, just somebody who likes to create things, it has been like kind of cringe seeing all of these attempts to like make creator coins work. Because it seems like, it's like people create just for fun, people create to create, like just like how birds sing just to sing. And like when you try too hard to monetize it, it like takes away the spirit of creating. So it like in general, I've like felt pretty anti-creator coin, but this new model that Vitalik proposed, I mean, it could work. I don't know. Vitalik's a pretty smart guy, and nobody's proposed a model like this before. So it could be like a new way for creators to earn revenue if the stars align, of course. But so like the gist of it is for the listeners. So like creators get together, create a DAO, DAO, Decentralized Autonomous Organization that we were talking about earlier. The DAO doesn't have a token attached to it. And the DAO also has more power than any like individual creator in the collective. So like if the DAO consists of like me, us three, and then like Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber doesn't just like have a bunch of power because he's the most famous, right? So like the DAO holds more power than any individual, and the DAO can vote in and out creators, like who they want to join, who they don't want in, and creators to get into the DAO create their own creator coin that kind of works as like a prediction market. And if there's like enough votes, yes, then they get voted in the DAO. If there's not, then they don't get into the DAO. And if they are voted in, then the portion of the funds for being a DAO member, like all of those fees get used to buy back that creator's creator coin, buy and burn. So like in theory, that's like how the creator is getting paid, because like their creator coin is being bought by the funds from the DAO that they were voted into. And so with this new model, like speculators, people who are just buying tokens and stuff, instead of relying on hype, now they're relying on like DAOs, like groups of highly respected artists who are controlling price action more so than hype. Right. I mean, yeah. So it's a lot of word salad, but it's like I said, dude, like Vitalik's a really smart guy. He understands like just game mechanisms, I feel like, pretty well.
I agree, but what he doesn't
do.
understand is humans, and he certainly doesn't understand soft-skilled humans. Like this is kind of like in the vein of like, way back in the day, there was a big movement of trying to get a union for YouTubers so that YouTubers could get health insurance and retirement funds. And YouTubers are like, no, I don't want to. I'm going to go my own way. And this is like the same thing. There's no way.
I mean, but like if YouTubers tried as much as creator coin people are trying, like maybe this is like the 4th, 5th iteration of creator coins. So like I do feel like, I don't know, maybe they're onto something.
I think on paper you're onto something, but like, no, go ahead, Katya.
Yeah, honestly, I feel for him. I feel for Vitalik. I feel like this is his Achilles heel. Like he has such a need to, because you gotta remember in terms of this person, like Ethereum, we don't know Bitcoin's creator, right?
Yeah.
And if they exist still, they're not making themselves heard. We don't know anything about them. Ethereum is the second biggest chain and has, considering all this like DeFi and tokenization and all that stuff, like has all the potential to become the biggest one, right? And there's this actual live human who this monster is his creation. So you gotta like think about how he sleeps, like with all the stuff that happened. I'm sure he has to do a lot of meditation on the topic of like, this, I am not responsible for every single thing that happens on Ethereum. But he has, I feel, such a need to still feel that it's not just going to be a financial machine, a meme coin machine, a speculation machine, that he keeps coming back to this decentralized social and creator mechanisms and idealized tokenization thoughts that he puts out there. I feel like he has a real need to feel that something is going to come out of this that's not just going to be Wall Street and speculation and rug pulls. This whole thing, I think, is it's scientific fiction, you know? So like it's science fiction. It's especially alarming for me is bringing in prediction markets. I'm like, let's leave prediction markets out of everything except prediction markets. Let's just not bring them into anything else, which is this gambling machine. So no, for all kinds of reasons, no. I do agree with a kernel in what he is saying about, about what he's actually describing, minus the prediction markets, minus the DAOs, minus all of that, is highly respected individuals, highly respected professionals, gatekeeping what surfaces to the top of content. And that existed, PBS, the New York Times, we had that before the internet. That's how it all worked before the internet. And then, once we had the internet and YouTube and Twitter and Instagram and TikTok, everyone is a creator. And I confess that I don't have skin in the game. I don't really create, I write blog posts, whatever, who cares? Like, I'm not a creator of authentic artistic stuff that I would post, at least not at this point in my life. So I don't have any skin in the game. But I am actually kind of on the side of being like, maybe we should bring more gatekeeping into this, vibe, because it turned out that not everyone is a creator. Not everyone who has an opinion should voice it, like, straight up. Like, not everybody should be able to put their opinion for everyone to read. And that's just how I feel about it. So I agree with that part. I mean, maybe that makes me a backward kind of and ivory tower person, which I kind of am. So I agree that for content, I agree that the issue is not content incentivization, but surfacing of quality content. I agree that we've arrived at this point. Like, there's no issue with the amount of content. We have AI now. I agree that it's an unsolved problem. I agree that it's a hard problem to solve. I also agree that there has to be some gatekeeping in some way that is involved for surfacing quality content. But I don't think DAOs and prediction markets are the way.
But you know where you don't have to worry about gatekeeping quality content? This podcast. Because you know what? We're serving it up for free and you're finding it every week. Because that brings us to the end of this week's episode. Thank you so much, guys, for chatting with me today. Thank you, dear listener, for being here. And we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.